we could start. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Let's see. What day are we? Sunday. Any of my buttons working? Seems unlikely. Greco, hello. As far as I can tell, you're the only one who's here. It's you and me, mate, tonight. Okay, I may have to disappear for short sporadic points to start the kids tonight, but hopefully it all works out. Shed, hello. Indeed. One-on-one tuition. Okay, we'll wait for some people to roll in and then we'll think what we're doing. It's big refactor today. Okay, so Exorus, hello. Julian, hello. Pixelated, right, people are rolling in now. It's exciting. Yes, I want to tackle screen space ambient occlusion today, or at least start doing it. I was reminding myself a priori to this of what needs to be done, and it's quite a lot. Like our current architecture doesn't necessarily lend itself to that, so we're going to have to do a bit of a refactor of that. I have implemented it before, so I have a rough idea of what's going on. I think I can hopefully roughly explain the maths, but we're going to take it step by step. Excuse me. I'll get up like the article on it in a second, and we'll kind of go through it. Mr. German Piano, I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Nothing wrong with using Python. I use Python. Lots of people use Python. Lots of people do lots of good work in Python. But I'm glad you enjoy the videos. I guess I was kind of hoping Harand would be here, because I know he's hopefully going to. Well, I've gone wrong. Right. I'm going to put Char back to bed. Hold on 1 second. One insolent child returned to bed. We'll see how long that lasts. Okay, apologies. Let's do a thing. Oh, my camera's all askew. Oh, my hair's a mess. Right, too much, too far. Right. Okay, so what's what's the end goal? What do we want today? Today, well, we want to start. I don't know if we'll finish. We want to SSAO. Screen space ambient occlusion. This is my attempt to avoid doing shadows and hopefully get some sort of effect. So this, it's hard to tell because the effect is quite subtle, but in this render here without SSAO, there is no like dark areas between objects where if you look at like the corner of your room or whatever, you could probably see that where like points meet and between parts, light doesn't fully reflect. So you can see here on this one, it's got like a shadow behind it. It basically adds a lot of depth. It's a way of simulating ambient occlusion, like the natural amount of ambient light that would be occluded by the fact that objects are next to each other. So that's what we want to try and do. Basically, this should, in theory, kind of give a little bit more depth to the scene, and then we kind of apply that with a few other things. It should be good. Well, hopefully you didn't miss the chart because I'm very keen to not have any of my children on camera. So if you suddenly see me panic and press all the buttons, it's because one of them has silently opened the door behind me. So the way you do this is you sample every pixel once you've rendered it in view space, and then you do some maths around the geometry and the normals to try and work out how much other stuff is kind of like near me. So that makes sense. Like you sort of, if you imagine this is a point that you've rendered, you statistically sample area points around it and go, are any of these in the geometry? And if they're not, then you can assume there's zero occlusion. Whereas this point here, right, some of these statistically sampled points are below inside other geometry. So you can darken this area a little bit as effectively a ratio of the amount of points, some points inside to outside. Hopefully that makes sense. When you visualize it, it'll become a lot easier. This is basically all the information we need to gather. It works very well with a deferred renderer, which we don't have, and I'm not going to rewrite it all for a deferred renderer now. So we will basically create our own super thin G buffer of sorts. We'll have to render out a few of the extra bits of information we need, but get a load of information about the scene, SSAO it, blur it, combine it with what you've already rendered, then you should get nice shadows. And it works on complex geometry, but it's the same cost, right? Because you work on it in screen space, you basically render out the distance, the position of all the vertices, and then the normals of all the positions of all the fragments, and then the normals of all the fragments, and then something maths. You can recreate. You can effectively do this in a pixel shader. So that's basically it. So we need per fragment positions and per fragment normals, and then the albedo is what we combine at the end, I believe. So what we need is view space normals. So that's not world space normals. So as in like the color is a reflection of where they are on the XYZ Cartesian coordinates. It's the color RGB is based on where they face you. So RGB. So everything you should look at should look blue because it's facing at you, and red should be on the side and green should be on the top. And as you move around the scene, everything is always blue in front of you. So our first step is just to see if we can get that out first. So we need view space normals. Okay, so we need the normal of each point in the scene with reference to us, not the 3D world Cartesian coordinates, something. We will then need to render that out to a separate render target so we can capture that, but that's a bit of a refactor and so. My first kind of thing is, can we just render the world space normals to our current scene and see if that looks right? So I want to go to, I think it's level routine. Somewhere in here. Is it in here or is it in Lua level? Where do we set up the scene? Lua level. Effects, right. So I want to turn off HDR because I don't want any extra processing at the moment. I just want to see the raw colors. Make run. Mozart, hello. Yes, was that on the CPP Reddit? I go on the CPP Reddit, and someone was like, "What?" Very surreal. The whole thing was moving. Someone posted a question like, "What streamers should I watch C++?" And someone like said my name. I was like, "This is very, very weird to see my name recommended on CPP Reddit." But then I did pop in and say, "Hello, it's me," and I'm glad you're here. It's a little bit graphicsy today, but there's also a bit of refactoring we need to do. So there should be some. There should be some C++ stuff going on. I'm happy to answer any questions about the code base as we go along, as you're jumping into what is now a nearly 90-part series. Cool. Okay. So is this Sans HDR, or do we just lowered the lighting, didn't we? What do I think about DirectX 11? Sure, I've never really used it, so I imagine like a lot of games are written in it, so therefore it must have merit. I don't know what those merits are because I never used it, but that doesn't mean it's not good, if that makes sense. Most of my experiences with OpenGL. Basil. It's going to be a little puzzle game, I think, revolving around movements of like barrels and stuff. But we're just sort of trying to build out the last bits of tech. So we've got physics going. So I should be able to like not walk through this wall, which is exciting. Got physics going, apart from this little corner here, which you can clip through, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that bit. We fixed a bunch of lighting. We've got post-processing effects. We've got menus. We've got kind of a lot of the mechanics done. The last one I want to do is this SSAO to hopefully try and bring a little liveliness to the screen. So, okay, so let's go look at our shader. I think the world is rendered still with something called the simple shader, because that's just what I called it to start with. Does it take? I mean, it takes me a long time, but I'm not. I'm not very good at this. My C++ is better than my OpenGL. But yeah, my ethos for this project is for the first release of the game, I want to have written every single line of code live. And as I can only stream twice a week for a couple of hours at a time, it means I basically really only get 4 or 5 hours a week to work on this. So, you know, we're at 80 something streams, 2 hours each, so 160 hours this is roughly. Okay, so what I want to do, I've said my spiel now, so unfortunately it sounds like I knew what I was talking about. So we've got the normal, and that's the view normal because we do the inverse transpose BS. So I think. Can we just output the normal? Is that going to be, well, the point is that now I'm getting a bit, this is where I'm going to get heavily confused between view space and mode space, and you're going to watch me struggle a lot. Let's just see if that works. So I did a little bit of C++ at uni, but I've been a professional C++ dev for about a decade now across a variety of industries, although never in game dev. So this is why I kind of do this as a hobby, because it's a fun new excursion for me. Hey, well, I'm glad you love the struggle, because it's all a struggle. Yeah, I mean, I'm very pleased with the progress. Like, I'm super pleased with it. It's all... I was getting, like all projects, right? I probably like a month ago, maybe, I was like outside of the streams getting a little bit disenfranchised with it, because it's like, oh, it felt like so much to do, and there are loads of bugs, and like it was still, I love talking about C++. I talk about C++ all day, so I don't mind showing up. But like, I was like, I really want to do a different project now. But I'm glad I've stuck with it, because over the last few streams, a lot of the big bits have started to fall into place, and now actually it feels like a game now. We got audio in place, we got the physics in place, we got the character controller in place. It all starting to feel like a game now, and I can kind of feel like I can almost see the end of the tunnel now. My aim is to have this. I would like this game wrapped up, version 1 done by the end of the year. Yeah, indeed, because I really want to work on a new project. But the new project I want to work on is more complex than this. So if I can't do this, then there's no way I can do a more complex one. Right. This is okay. This is straight up world space, isn't it? Because it's not changing as I look at it. What have I done before? So I do have some prior art on this. Wrote something similar to this before. So what have I done before? So this is some old code I wrote. I got view norm. So I took the normal view, right, which is, what's my normal view when it's at home? Okay, might be in normal view, which is the transpose of that. Oh, that's normal matrix. Where's the normal view? Oh, I passed that. Oh, that's right. I calculate. Hang on, there's gonna be a lot of sliding windows. So on my previous time I did this, I calculated this on the CPU because it's technically more efficient to calculate it once and shove it through an SSBO. Yes, I think that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I think so that's normal there. So I think what I want to do is do so. Yeah, do I just need to multiply this by the view? Well, I want the normal view, don't I? But is that not this? Or do I need to do the same? Is it that? Oh, we can be guessing hard today. Guessing hard. Also, I get to have to rebuild my resource pack every time as well, which is fun. So yeah, if you have tuned in for some C++, it's going to be a little bit graphicsy to start with while I try and figure out the maths. But I'll be writing some ranges soon. Don't you worry. And I will spell pragma once wrong, and I'll forget to save the header file. Indeed. Well, there is the Bertrand Russell's proof of, is it 1 + 1 = 2 from, is it Principia Mathematica? Which is absurdly long. Looking better. There we go. Notice how it's always, everything I'm looking at should be blue, and then as it moves away, it changes color. So this, yeah, right, now we're, oh, it's trippy that. Right, getting distracted. Okay, so I need to probably shove this out into another uniform, and then I can write that to a separate render target. Because so what I'm doing is I want to represent the normal, right? So that is the unit vector that is perpendicular to the surface of any given bit of geometry. So if you store that as X, Y, Z, if you render it out as a color, as RGB, then I know it's right if it's mostly B when I'm looking at it, because that means the normal is R, would be the Z, which would be positive into the screen, if that makes sense. I'm basically rendering the normals as colors and using that to convince myself I've got it right. So if I want view space normals, i.e. the normal of everything as I'm looking at it, then the stuff that is flat to my face, like, needs to be blue. Connor, hello, no worries. I'm just playing, just guessing at the maths. Well, in this instance, they'll be black because I'm not scaling the vector for the normal for rendering, so anything negative will just sort of be capped. Should be clamped at 0, right? Because I'm only rendering positive x, y, z. You can scale it, can't you? You do a double it in half trick or whatever it is, which will then make it much more renderable. But anyway, it's just the fact it is in this, when I'm rendering the normals, the black is just a side effect of how I'm basically munging data into color. Harand, I'm glad you're here because we're doing SSAO and I'm not entirely convinced I'm smart enough to do it. Double add 1.5. That's it. No, just keep throwing numbers at it. So yeah, we should see now view space normals because everything we look at is blue, and then if I turn to look at these suddenly become blue because that is the normal in view space. I'm going to keep saying view space like it is, like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure that's the right term. Okay, right. So now what we need to do is need another normal view, and then we will do that will be normal view, and that will be model. Again, it's a bit wasteful doing all this every fragment on the GPU, but the game is not that graphically. Because the game isn't that graphically demanding, I can kind of make some concessions to make my life as on the development side a little bit easier. Good, nailed it. Model matrix multiply somewhere there, otherwise rotated models might be wacky. Yes. Yeah, next game I'm going to do deferred render to start with, then we can just pull this in because you need all this information to do the lighting anyway. Are you what are you saying? Is it needs to is that I've got nothing that actually rotates at the moment, so I guess I could cheat and not worry about it. I see what you're saying, but I can't in my mind figure out what it should look like. But doesn't no, because you use the TBN in the fragment shader to resolve that, right? I think because I've got the orthonormal basis. There's a moth in one of the kids' bedrooms. Hang on. couldn't find the moth. Might have to go again. Right, okay. World, hello. Right, apologies. I think this is fine because we're going to output that there. Then over in the fragment land, we'll have another in vec3 normal view, and then we should be able to just do normal view. Do I need to multiply that by the TBN? I'm wondering if that's normalize TBN times. Actually, I suppose I could do that here. I don't know. Let's see what that does. Something. Okay. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I forgot to press the good point. Checked. I was like, I did think that my face looks awfully big on the screen. I thought I was just standing really close to the camera. Okay, slam this into the resources. Do I think some of the game breakthroughs like Quake Engine should put in books for unis? I mean, depends what the course is and what the expected outcome of that module or module is, right? If it's a history of game programming, yes. If it's modern C++ best practices, probably no. Yeah, I think it really depends on like what the academic goal of that unit is. Okay. That feels worse. That's blue. Yeah, this is definitely not right now because it's... Unless I need to scale it to output it properly. Equals normalize TBN times normal view. C, what were we saying it was? You add double C equals C times 2 plus 1. Over 2.0, is that it? We'll double them. No, isn't it just at plus 1 over 2? I don't need to double it, do I? Because I want to... Because you want minus 1. Isn't it this? To be honest, like, we were satisfied with the previous one. I don't want to spend too long faffing around with it because I just want to make progress and we'll fix all the bugs later. So we'll need to capture the... Don't need to do the view... Well, I think we need to do 2, don't we? Don't we also need to do the screen, like the position as well? So... make it twice as big. I'm not convinced this is right. I'm going to go back to what I think looks right, and then we'll go from there. I do understand what someone was saying, though, about this doesn't take into account the rotation. I feel it needs to be TBN'd somewhere, but I don't think my brain can, at this very moment, quite comprehend exactly what I'm supposed to do with that. Okay, so let's... And let's see if we can output this. So somewhere in here I should have an out. Can I do out vec for norm color, or do I need to bind these to a layout? No, the normal mapping is the normal map. It's fine if I just calculate the view normals and then output it, but the question was none of the calculations for the normal for the camera space normals takes into account the model matrix. So if anything was rotated, would it then be wrong? And the way we do that currently in the normal lighting calculation, which I guess is in world space, because it's in world space, isn't it? It multiplies it by the TBN, so that's why that's wrong. I don't know. I think it's fine for now. Let's just keep going. So I need to do this, but I think this won't work. I think I need something like layout location equals naught, and then I bind frame buffers. Get there in a minute. Then I bind frame buffers to that, so I can then just bottom here do what do I call it? Norm color? Already terrible. Already regretting my naming. Equals. So actually, hang on. Ugh. And then I'll need position color as well, but that one thing at a time. So that this won't work now because the renderer won't bind something for this to render to. So I guess we should fix that. And then we'll need an SSAO shader, plug that into the pipeline, add another post-processing effects option. There's a lot of mechanics we need to do before we can actually get into filling this out. So I guess we should do that. Renderer. Okay, so how does one OpenGL multi-render target? At some point in here, where do we render the actual scene? So this would be our simple material. Yeah, sorry, but I meant where do we actually do the mechanics of this? What we call GL draw elements, right? So this will render with that fragment, which is expecting now 2 frame buffers. Where are those bound? Are those bound here, or are they bound when we create the material? So we attach the shade. Where do we bind? Oh, hang on, wait a minute. No. I could just look this up. I'm just seeing if I can puzzle it out myself. We have the main frame buffer, which we bind, right? What does binding do when it's at home? Ah, 0. Nope. Is this what you have to do? GL bind frame buffer. Specifies the frame buffer target of the binding operation. Binds the frame buffer object with the name frame buffer to the frame buffer target by target. Target must be either. No, don't want that. Don't want that. I have to, at some point, tie these two together, because at the moment when I just had the single out color, when it was bound, I'm just going to look it up, aren't I? On which line? Shading. Here we go. GL frame buffer texture. Frame buffer. Here we go. Okay, it's this here. I set it which color attachment I want. And then so what's then GL draw buffers? I think I need this. I think I need GL named frame buffer draw buffers. I think specifies a list of color buffers to be drawn to. So I think I set there. So do I use any of these at the moment? No. Okay, fine. So I think. What do I think? My. Hello, computer. Hello. Ooh. Okay. So where do you call GL draw named frame buffer draw buffers? Do you call that before you render in the renderer? And then I need to bind them as well, right? Trixie, what am I doing? Right, so let's you give it an array of. Basically, I'm looking at this, right? So we use the DSA equivalents, but it's fine. So this creates all this gubbins and then says like, this is the color buffer in attachment 0. This is the normal color buffer in attachment 1. This is the color blah blah blah. This is for the deferred shader, by the way. And in the end, it says tell OpenGL which color attachment we'll use of this frame buffer. Oh, because this is bound. Oh, okay. I think I get it. I think I get it. So have you got to declare them all in one go though? I feel like frame buffer needs to possibly change its interface because at the moment we're like width, height, and samples, and it always has a color and a depth. But if I want it to have, basically, I've got two choices here. I can create an additional overload for frame buffer, which has, I don't know, like tag dispatch or something like that to disambiguate it, and basically says this will also have a normal buffer as well as any others we want. which means every time I want to add a new render target, right, as in like a, an alternate thing to render to, I'd have to modify this class, the internals of it, or I abstract it out and basically I don't construct the color texture in here. I expect it to be passed in color textures, or we do both. The simple case is I just want a color and a depth, and you can allocate it for me. Or I think that might be best actually. Sorry, sometimes I got to sound this out in my head. So I think I want. Yeah, I think it's just the way I've done it. Like, I'm not sure that's right or wrong. Oh, poop does actually fully own them, doesn't it? I wonder if we need to embark on a greater refactor here. Yeah, I think my abstraction for frame buffer is wrong. Oh, I'm gonna have to, yeah, right, fine, let's do it. So we'll take so this actually, yeah, it's going to take a span of textures, yeah, but it's just going to be a little bit of a refactor. But I think from that, right, I don't even need to pass it the width and height anymore because those can be inferred from the texture. So I think I just want a span of const texture color textures const texture star depth texture, right? Capsule, you're welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I was going to assert that they are, because that just sounds like a range, right? So the range is all of width, height equal. Bish bash bosh. Okay, so then this will have changed, and this will be I will spend more time trying to construct a single line range assert than I will on anything else this stream, just so everyone is aware. Oh, congratulations. I do vaguely, I get a lot of emails, but I do vaguely remember that, so congratulations. Don't need this, don't need this, do need this, do need that. Keep this, keep that, keep this in the other textures. And then this will be a stirred span. Right, okay. Really scope, make sure that's fully scoped. Okay. All right. I think we're getting there. So I think that's what I want. This is understandably grumpy. Stick that there. And then from here we can do handle should be the same. Why is that being funny about that? Ah, because that's that. Okay, cool. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Oh, steady. Okay. Oh, I don't need samples anymore because that's a yes, because that's a input of the texture, isn't it? So now a frame buffer is literally just a non-owning view with some OpenGL gubbins. What have I... Why is it not like that? Oh, have I just spelled it wrong in the... I have. Okay, take it back. Okay, fine. So let's first of all expect, which is our version of assert, because this is just checking a precondition. Algorithm stood. Where's my Clang D is Clang D's given up. Ranges. I'm recording as well. There you go. All of color textures. Actually, hang on. First of all, expect not color textures dot empty. Must have color textures. Nailed it. Okay. Now we can do all of color textures, and then we can do but const auto e return e width equals color textures not width. I suppose actually for completeness I could also do e height equals color textures not height. Bang, bang, dang, all color textures must have same dimensions. I find ranges incredibly useful. It's one of my favorite parts of the language. Everything is just a ranges problem for me now. Concepts are good as well. If you do a lot of template metaprogramming or just a lot of templating anyway, it makes things a lot easier to reason about. Gives you better error messages, makes the code cleaner and smaller. So anything that kind of gets you away from the Sphinx horror, I'm a big fan of. But yeah, I don't know. If you're new around these parts, I'm a big fan of ranges. Okay, so now what I can do is do right. Okay, here's a range for you. Let's do for const auto index color text in std views enumerate color textures, and then what we can do is we can take this, move this, do plus index, and then okay, so this will now go through and set the color. So the precondition is that you provide the textures in the order that you want them attached, starting at 0. So enumerate creates a view over the container where you also with the basic, I think it's a pair. Each element is a pair of the index number and the element, or reference to the element. So yeah, that should do what we want it to do. That should do what we want it to do. There are some concepts somewhere, yeah. Yes, I think I did just check this, right? can you rely on that? I think it's unlikely they're going to change it. So I think kind of okay. If anyone who knows more than me, which I mean that's highly likely, but if anyone has more experience than me, thinks this is a in bold bad idea, let me know. Otherwise, it does make my code a lot simpler. Nailed it. And then I want to do something like const GL. What do I want? I need. I see. Interesting. Yeah, we could do expect color color textures. Is it? Hang on, there might be a C++ better way of doing this. I think what I can do is expect stud clamp color. Is that going to 0 plus 5? No, okay, fine. I thought I could be clever and detect whether if it was falling outside of a range. But it's fine. I think I'll just have to do. It seems a shame to have to do this. Can I do that? Fine, whatever. Hit very color. I'll certainly remember what that means. I pushed the button on Discord. I did it. Did I not? Oh. I can't really show it. It says this interaction failed. No audio? Hello? Hello? Hey, sure. Okay, fine, cool. Yes, the notification failed. I will put it on AC's to-do list. Okay, fine. So now what I want is I need to accumulate these so I can pass them in. I could do it part of the loop. I could do it with another range. I might do another range just for funsies. Const auto attachments equals stud views iota 0 to color textures dot size, pipe that to stud views transform, auto e return GL About to lose behind my big bold dome. Color attachment plus E. Pipe it to stood ranges to the vector. Nailed it. Yeah, the dual literals are cool. Okay, right. So now, after I do the name frame buffer text, I don't know if there's an order I need to do, probably after this. In fact, actually, then this should be here. Nope. Here. I should be able to do. Oh, I might have to go and update my list of imports. Can I do GL named? No. Okay, fine. Okay. Oh, my least, possibly my least favorite file. PFN G named frame buffer draw buffers. Why is there a draw buffer and draw buffers? That's named frame buffer draw buffers. Okay, now GL named frame buff named frame. Hey, what's going on? Named frame buffer draw buffers. Obviously, GL named frame buffer draw. Oh, there you go. Wow, Clang D might need a swift kick in the shins. Handle, and then attachments dot size. Attachments dot data. Ooh, interesting. It wants it as a little implicit cast working there for us. I should static cast it, but that's less typing. Should be beyond buffer. Beyond buffer. Which buffer? This one? Nice. Yeah, it's good to take time off. No, I think they're all lowercase b's to be consistent with OpenGL. Or if I put in which b? Which draw buffers? Okay, I think this then might be wrong because I'm copying it from here, and this is definitely. And I've got a big B there, right? I don't think OpenGL can kind of decide when the buffer is a separate word or not. Around, I assume that's 2 days of hacking on your of your language in your immediate future. Would I still use ranges if the transform wasn't as simple as this? I found that once the map or whatever gets large, it loses a bit of usability. It's kind of a hard question to ask because you could say, like, would I use anything if it was harder to use? Like, there would be a limit maybe where the mechanics of it is harder, is not worth the effort, but I think you'd have to make ranges pretty grim for me to not want to use it. Okay, so that should work. So now we're going to have to change the render. I think this is where we're going to might have some difficulties. Because I've got the main frame buffer, and I'm going to need the normal frame buffer, but, oh, hang on, press the wrong, jeez. Measure twice, click once with NeoVim. The render's going to need access to the resource cache, or is it just going to create them in here? Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I use AI tools as tools because they are. AI is like a tool, not the solution. I don't really. It's hard. If I could predict the future, I start buying lottery tickets. So, yeah, I don't really know. It feels like it's plateaued a bit. I feel like the massive step changes are getting smaller and smaller. But I don't really know. Okay, so I need to create a bunch of stuff here. I wonder if the renderer should just own it. There's no need for it to be cached because no one else is going to need it. So let's go renderer. It's getting pretty big, this renderer class. I mean, it's kind of inevitable, but right. So I'm going to need. I could just create a bunch of textures, or I could stick them in a vector, but that doesn't really get us anything. Or I can stick them in a map, and then I can access them by name, but then what's the difference between that and a variable name? So I've kind of convinced myself that I want to do this. So let's bring in graphics texture and do texture. So we've got main frame buffer color, normal, and then post pro. Oh, hang on. Whoa, steady. Texture main frame buffer. Sorry, I've seen it. I'm there. Texture post. I have to keep these together. Does feel like this should this be a. I do wonder if this is better off being a struct actually, and then I think this is right. So let's do frame buffer data, just stack data on the end, and then this should have a stood vector textures, and then a frame buffer. Okay, then we can get rid of all this color textures, texture depth. And so this would just become main frame buffer, post-processing frame buffer. Okay, and then that now has all the data that we need with it. Yes, I'm going to do the 52 frames of America. Let's say 9 good spots. Okay, right now let's go back to renderer, which is going to be increasingly unhappy. I'm going to try to do this all in one line. Okay, so we have dot textures equals, hoping it's going to let me do that. Dot no, it's color textures, isn't it? Do I need that? Depth equals width, height. How do I make it? I think texture might be my least favorite interface because there's so many overloads that do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. One of them is depth. Texture usage depth. What's the minimum? What's the smallest? I think it's the width, height, 8. Texture usage depth. Height 8. And then I can't access the vector. I've got almost like an Ouroboros situation here. In order to create the frame buffer, I need the textures, but to create the whole frame buffer struct, I need to have first created the frame buffer, which needs the textures. The advantage, I guess, of writing them initialized is that by the time you get to the constructor code, you know all your objects are fully initialized, right? So, and if any of them are going to throw during their constructor, they would have thrown. So you can't get to the constructor without everything basically being initialized, which means you don't have to worry about ordering or anything like that. And the compiler with sufficient warning levels will enforce that you initialize them in the order that they're declared. Otherwise, you can run into issues. So I'd say generally it is safer to do this. Yeah, or right. Yeah, I guess that is the way to do it. Taking size, decal, attachment count, and ball has depth. I prefer correct by construction though. So I'd rather the object is sort of primed and ready to go after the constructor, and I don't have to do set up any remember to call any additional state afterwards. That's my kind of personal coding style. It's just for the renderer, right? It's just in this case, I wanted to do this. So if I want to create this all in one line in the initializer list, this needs these two. But you're right, we could just bundle them up separately. There's no big dramas about that. Okay. Oh yeah, we could actually that might be better. Yeah, that might be better. Let's. I tend to avoid having too much logic in a struct, but I think this might be a good one. I'm actually gonna take it by value and move it in because it's clearer then. It's internal anyway, so no one really cares. No, and then I can construct it then, can't I? So I can do color textures, stud move, color textures, because I'm going to be only creating these as R value references. Well, sorry, these are going to come in as PR values anyway. Depth, stud move, depth. Sorry, I knew this was going to be a bit of a refactory one today. And then I can do frame buffer color textures, which should automatically convert it to a span for us, and then depth. Oh yeah, good point. Okay. What have I done? Oh, hang on. I bet it's pointer. I will need to convert it because that's fine. To stud transform once auto e returns the address of e again there. Okay. Pipe to stud ranges to stud span. Hopefully, I think I might need to tell it what type there. Let's just give us some space here. Man, lots of ranges today. I probably want a span as well. And I probably want a vector as well. Right. What was it not about this? To transform to that. Hang on, I bet it's missing that. Ooh. Bet it can't because is it going to try and allocate that? I'm determined to do this. The dog, hello. Can you? I bet you can't do that. I could create another vector, which should then get to a span. You can tell me what you're trying to match against. If I try and build it to get the actual compiler error, I'm gonna get loads of errors. Yes, that's what. So yes, I think that was where my thought was going. It's ranges 2 effectively allocates, right? Where span is a non-owning view. But I don't understand why that doesn't. Also, is that probably gonna need that, aren't I? I take each element of the moved in texture vector, I convert it to a pointer, I then convert that into a vector of const pointers, which should, in theory, implicitly get const to a span. I think I'm just going to have to assume this works and get the actual compiler error out in a minute, because that's just, it's helpful to neither man nor beast that. Okay, continuing on our train of misery, I should be able to now do that. Sure does accept that. And then, all my code's exploded. It sure has not accepted that. Come on, you know that's a factor. Come on, mate. What is this doing? I mean, yeah, it's right though. I mean, it's pretty sure it's right. I'm gonna commit. All right, come on, compiler, help me out. Help me out. Boom. All the errors. Right, I'm just gonna start at the top. Start at the top and start fixing stuff. Frame buffer 33. I think today might just be a refactor stream, and we'll get on to do something fun tomorrow. Ooh, was it not like about this? Type, better type. Let's do static cast to a GL enum? A GL enum? That's a few more casts between friends. I am 35 and I started coding probably when I was about 14, but like, don't think I was very good at it. I didn't, I'm still not very good at it. I've definitely been typing code into a computer for about 20 years. God. Have I gone too far? I feel like I've seen this error before. Here we go. Right. 43. Sure, it's going to want this as static cast GL sizey. I'm sure I've mentioned my age before. Right. This error is much longer. Undeclared frame buffer 67. Yes, that is not wrong. So I should be able to do color textures dot front width, and then for height, and then this is correct. This is now a stood span of a const texture star. Okay, right. That should keep frame buffer happy. No, I think I already changed it in the header. I think that's what it was complaining about. Yeah, I'd already done this, just not done the other. Let's get more in this office. All right. No overload. Right, here we go. Here we go. Right. Renderer 35. Cannot convert item from container to span. No user conformance conversion. We've had this before, and I thought it was a const issue, but it's definitely right. Let's look at this closely. It wants a span of const texture pointers, right? And it's got. Oh, I hate. Okay, it's fine. It's the same issue here, but it cannot convert it with a vector of const texture pointers. I thought there was a deduction rule in the language that allowed it to pass in a vector as a span. No? I thought it was literally the point of span. Yeah, it's in the overload set. We've played this game before. Constructor. It takes a range, right? And a vector. Sure as a range. Do I have to... Is it because it doesn't like the implicit cast? Or is it because it's a temporary? I wonder if this is a temporary and it doesn't like it. The other thing I could do is... No, you can't do that because... Oh, hang on, it just needs a range, doesn't it? So I should, if it just needs a range... hang on. I don't think I need that then, do I? No, dynamic in span means it doesn't know, it stores the size at runtime rather than compile time. So there's this, span has this concept of an extent, which defaults to this magical dynamic extent value, which basically says, I will store the size at runtime. So you can have a compile time span, basically. but this constructor. So it's got nothing to do with the dynamicism of the allocation in details of the range of which it's spanning. Although this might not work because does transform make it lose the concept of a contiguous iterator, right? Oh. Well, I guess I'm just faffing around ranges for the rest of the stream. Yeah, hopefully I explained that well, sorry. But yeah, there's kind of multiple concepts there. Error. I could be this. It's not, but it could be. Cheers, mate. No use. Some range of 35. So it's, yeah, it definitely doesn't like this, but it does take a range. This is it's it's unfortunately the case with me, I'm afraid. Like, I'd much rather spend all day faffing around with like stunt C++ ranges than actually make. Well, actually, no, I should be making more progress on the game. But this is the perfect use case for ranges. Well, yeah, because since 2006, language has only gotten much more complex, which means a much larger surface for cryptic errors. I suspect the act of turning. Oh, is it because it's a view, not a range? I suspect that's the problem. I suspect this is a view, not a range. So I would expect that to work. I'm really confused why that doesn't work. Unless it's... This error message does not help me. Yeah. Well, the solution we normally have, the problem we normally have is that we don't maintain the constantness of the child, of the templated type. Okay, so do I just need to be like... But this is, I'm pretty sure we are constant correct throughout this. It could be this, right? It's found this. Cannot convert argument one from a container to a span. Why can't it, where the container is a const game star, right? Got to watch out for those type names. I'm close to giving up on this. I don't feel I should, but it's really not getting us any closer to SSAO. I was like, oh, I've just burned a few streams on this. First stream, battling ranges. Oh, come on, what am I missing? I don't... And it's not even like it's an MSVC curio, because even ClangD is like, no, mate. Although I was hoping ClangD might give me something a little bit more... oh, careful. And frame buffer has which container? Because this should result in a container of this type, right? A vector of this. It's just like... will that help me? If I explicitly try and construct a stood span of it, it will try and invoke the constructor of the stood span. It might give us better. Here we go. Here's some more information. So spans are lightweight non-owning, right? So it's perfectly fine to pass them by value. In fact, it's considered kind of the canonical use because it's just a pointer and a size. So okay, so where's this start? Oh, guys, so hard. I got jumbo font size on as well, which doesn't help. It's found it here. It's found the range one, and it's like, I can't do it. Ah, shoot, it is now an initializer list, isn't it? So what if I just make it an expression? Yeah, so so this is a forwarding reference, right? So this will bind to an R-value reference, okay? Which is what I'm passing in because this is a PR value. Or the value category of this expression will be a PR value. So what I don't understand is if this is a PR value, whose job in the language is to materialize a value, and span takes, just trying to work this through my head, span takes a forwarding reference, which means it can bind to an R value reference. I feel like it's struggling to construct the span. So can I do stood span const texture star, something like this? Can I be like this? I want to know why it's failing to match this. Is it going to tell you all the ones it tried? That'd be helpful. Right. No. Cannot convert container to a stood span ref. Reason. Cannot convert from container to const span. There is no to span. Is it? I don't think there's any to span on vector, is there? I thought the whole point was it goes via then it doesn't couple the type that way. No. Okay, fine. We might just have to do this the hard way. The easy way is to make this a unique pointer so it can be null here, then in the constructor here, do all the horror of converting it to a span. It's just annoying me because I don't understand why it's not working. I think that's what's really irking me is my understanding of the language isn't deep enough to definitively say why this is not ranging. We take our vector, we convert it to a view over that range with a transformation. and then we convert it to a vector, but it will be a temporary. Right, I'm going to just try this for a second because I am getting grumpy. Right, so that will give us the vector, and then I should be able to do frame buffer equals the make unique frame buffer the span. Of course, I don't get the it won't with forward with perfect forwarding. It won't do the implicit cast, I don't think. Yeah, no, I see. I think it could be so. So sorry, I've missed the chat. These are the references where values are expected. You'll have to, can whoever said that like remind me what they mean by that, because I'm not sure I understand. Like, I mean, I understand the phrase. I don't understand how it applies. Which values do you think are references? I think it could be down to being a temporary. Still not doing it, is it? Oh. Okay, so I think that fixed it. Why does it not work when it's const? Why does it not work when it's const? Because it won't match this if it's const. I think. Okay, that would make sense. But why would it not work when we did it in line? Is it because it's a temporary? Because it's a temporary, I think it has to evaluate to a const ref to get the lifetime extension rules. I think that's right. Is that the two like sharp edges of the language that I stepped on? I can't pass a const reference to a forwarding reference, and the was effectively, I guess, the temporary materialization of that temporary evaluates to a const ref. Yeah, it will match 7, but this calls ranges which only valid for L values. I don't know. That's the bit I can't understand, is why did this not work for the temporary? Because obviously if you've got like you can't do that, right? But you can do that because you get the lifetime extension rule or whatever it is for const ref. So have I just got that rule in my head and I think that's what applying? Because the vector is destroyed, but you keep a span to it around. Yes, that would also make sense. Okay, so I guess it's a temporary. But how does the language know that? What I'm trying to understand is what rule in the language was preventing my temporary, my PR value, binding, like picking this overload. No, not this one. That's the bit I can't get my head around. Why was a temporary not picking this? I think that's the bit. That's the bit I'm upset that I don't understand. For RFRF, R gets reduced to a TREF for an L value and T for an R value. So if it gets reduced to a T, then it would be copying it in? No, that's not right. Yes, what you're describing, isn't that the decal spec? Sorry, the decal type rules when you put an expression in it. I think that's what... Yes, is this what you're referring to? If the expression is a PR value, it'll be a T. If it's an L value, a TREF, and if it's an X value, a TREF. And then, yes, with the reference collapsing. Yes, okay, I see. But that's still... calls ranges data. Returns a point. So, are you suggesting? Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I fully understand this because it's important. I think you're suggesting then that at this point, this wouldn't be a TREF. In all other cases, calls range is ill-formed. So here, right. If the argument is an L value, a call range data is expression equivalent to this. Otherwise, this is... Yes, okay, fine. I think this is it, yes. In all the cases, a call to range data is ill-formed, which can run substitution failure when range data appears in the immediate context of a template instantiation. Okay, I think I understand that. So basically, it doesn't satisfy... The temporary doesn't satisfy either of these two cases, right? If the argument is an L value or... L value or enable, so it's not a borrowed range, right? That's a separate concept, and I don't think it's that. So it's definitely just an L value. It is going to yeah, I think I'll probably go through this quietly with a beer afterwards because I think I pretty much get it. But it's useful for me to make sure I can fully grok it. I don't want to waste any more time. Yes, I know. I'm aware that the constructor goes away, but I had a span to it. But surely at the point that vector exists, right? Even though it's a temporary. So why is the data are ill-formed? No, sorry. Well, you have to remember, like, what I'm storing on, ooh, steady, just explode all my code. What I'm storing on the stack here, right, is just a bunch of pointers. So there's no lifetime ownership of these, right? No, you're right. That is a bug. I see what you mean now. Yes. I think I might just have frame buffer take a vector of pointers and not worry about it. Yes. Okay. Fine. Yes, I see what's going on now. This is a bear trap waiting to happen. Well, I'm glad I spent 40 minutes of my life puzzling through that. Thank you for everyone who kind of got me there in the end. Because I think the way I got myself, the step I got confused in my mind was because I was like, oh, it's just a span of pointers, so it doesn't really matter, right? Because the thing these are pointing to is safe, right? Because that's here, as long as it doesn't get like resized or whatever. But yes, you're right. The value of the 8 bytes for each of those pointers themselves, which I'm spanning to create a span over, is going to go away. Yes, I see. Yes. Right. Got there in the end. Apologies. What a waste of time as well. Well, I'm glad 100 people watch me fail at that. I still want... I still think I have the same issue, aren't I? Yeah, I'd have to have... I'll tell you what I need, actually, then, is this should be a vector. I don't know if I think I might have... I strongly suspect I've got the sunk cost fallacy at this point. And everyone out there screaming, just do it a different way. Right, nailed it. There we go. I'm not constructing... I'm constructing texture pointers from textures, right? I'm basically just taking the address of them, so it should be okay. So I think actually this now simplifies that down there. Same name for parameter member. I think that's fine because I disambiguate it with this, right? So shouldn't have to worry about it. Oh, unless you mean this one here, I guess. Nope, that's fine because there's no other local. Check the call to the constructor. which constructor? This just converts this to a range, to a span, words, to a vector of pointers, and then I can just put those in here, which will then accept it as a span. Okay, let's see if we can get back to where we started at the beginning, at least, but with much more code, and then we'll be ready to hit this hard on Wednesday. Okay. Frame buffer 40. Still doesn't like it. Oh no, wait a minute, hang on. Frame buffer 40. Okay, fine. I do need a static cast. Well, it should be fine, right? Because the depth will live as long as the frame buffer. So that's why I pass in my pointer. Ah, got you. Okay. Renderer. Lots of issues in renderer. What's the first one? $83. No. Oh yes, it's gonna be unhappy. So why is it not like this now? Can it not infer that as a vector? Oh, hang on. Yeah. Why is that not liking that? I guess like the vector texture. I'm right. Pig zero this. Fix this stuff I can fix. To read. These are going to be. No, those are not pointers. Yeah, that's. Oh, okay, hang on. Yeah, so that needs to be dot frame buffer. Dot frame buffer. Yes, yeah. Got it. Okay, fine. It's gonna be the same for all these, isn't it? Right, let's start at the top and work our way down. So bind that. Unbind that. A little bit gross this. I wonder if I should. Let's just get it working first. Always make it pretty later. Okay, all right. This is looking a little bit better. Bind textures for the HDR. For now, I can just do dot front. And that is already a pointer, so that's fine. Same thing here. Get rid of that. Front. Okay. Okay. Right. I think we're just hopefully down to the point where I'm just struggling to construct these rando struct. I scratch struct. Put some data in it. How hard can it be? No versions. Here we go. Why does it not like this as a texture? Is it because I'm using the braced initialization here? That shouldn't matter. That shouldn't be the issue. But let's just keep it consistent with the other ones in this class anyway. Conversion. Right, I just want to just see what is the issue with the first one. No, if I just got the constructor wrong. Oh, hang on. This one needs a texture usage, doesn't it? Frame buffer. That's what's missing. Otherwise, it doesn't know what type it is. I think that's the. I think it's a 4-argument constructor, right? Usage, width, height, samples. And it's pretty unambiguous between all the others. So why is this not? Well, this takes a vector now, right? So this should. Why? It's because I don't have a move. Is it because I don't have? I can't remember all the rules of when it doesn't give you the. Don't think that's the issue because I think because I've not declared a copy constructor or a destructor, I still think the rule of 5, the rule of 0 kicks in because it's only constructors I've created. Could be. Doesn't like my initializer list somewhere. My favorite beer is probably Guinness. Why? Constructor. I mean, I do like fish and chips. I don't know if it's my favorite. A few more minutes. I just want to see if I can get this fixed, because I feel like no conversion from initialized list to texture. So this cannot convert anyone from initializer list to texture. What's it trying to convert to the texture? Like, which initializer list? I have many initializer lists now, for better or worse. So which one is it trying to call? Because I don't understand. Trying to match the list. That's this. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. Render 85. I do have the texture. I'm not missing the header, am I? That's stupid. I don't know. I feel like as a southerner, I should probably prefer cod, but I do quite like haddock, so it's a tough one. And the vinegar, of course. Oh. Why? What is there? What? Whoa. What? Game texture. No overload function convert all the arguments. Here we go. Could be. It's trying to construct a texture. It very much is trying to create a texture, but it doesn't like my usage. Like, I find it hard to believe it's because of this. And I've got uint32's width and height. Okay, how about this? How about then we just sack this off and just create an empty vector just to get it compiling. Right. Good day. Why is it? I don't understand. This render line 83 isn't. Oh, have I? Have I left a texture like uninitialized somewhere? Oh. Didn't I remove that? Okay, so that works. So can I reduce those types? And then we said that texture usage might be missing, so let's try this again now. So let's try. This will crash because I've got no color outputs, right? If this renders, there you go. Okay, so then here I should be able to have texture usage, frame buffer, width, height, 8. I'm not personally using SIMD, but I'm sure the compiler is for me. Like, I very rarely get involved with that. I'm kind of happy for the compiler to give it a go. Right, I'm missing. Like, I should be able to stick textures in a vector, right? Like, I've fundamentally misunderstood the language if this is happening. I guess I don't. Like, I don't think this is performance bound enough that I'm going to need to worry about that. Yeah, I'm actually using MSCC, but so it's probably not very good at it. But here we are. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. I think I know why. Because it's a vector, right? So this needs to be no accept and no accept. Because vector will only move if no accept, because of the strong exception guarantee. Have I language loaded myself? Have I redeemed myself? Nope. God damn it. I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand why this is now suddenly happening. Because this is a non-copyable type, so this was never going to be copyable anyway. I mean, like, I could be like, right, I'm just getting myself wound up in a circle here. I feel like my brain is dead and I'm not making any progress. I need to come back to this. The only other... No, because... I'm going to find this really hard to put down. Again, this is a temporary, right? So when we go to the renderer here, I take this by value, which means it should move construct that in. And then I move it in there. So why? This is very strange to me. This is no matching of a function type. Constraints are not satisfied. Why is it trying to copy it and not move it? Why is it not invoking the move operators? Unless, no, it's because std initialize. It's because an initializer list is copy only. You can't move from an initializer list. That was the decision they made in 2011. It's the same reason you can't inline create a unique vector unique pointers. This whole thing has been, I apologize wholeheartedly. This entire endeavor has been an absolute waste of time. And now I'm incredibly grumpy. I need to think about how this is going to work separately. Because textures are non-copyable, I cannot create them in line like this. I apologize. That's never going to work. Because you cannot move out of an initializer list. You can only copy. Well, bollocks. Well, what a pain in the ass is. Well, I hope everyone had fun, because I didn't. Let's comment this up quick. It makes it at least feel like I made some progress. Add more OpenGL functions. Sure. No, it's fine. I've had quite a long weekend, so I was a little bit grumpy anyway, but it's fine. Not grumpy, but I was hoping to make some more progress, but it's fine. We'll come out Wednesday and we'll write some more code, and it'll be much better than the code I wrote today. I just hope everyone's not too disappointed. Let's see. Let's go refactor frame buffer to not own textures. How's that changing the level? That can switch to temporarily render screen normals. Temp disable HDR, and then start to integrate frame buffer refactor. I guess I've come off the high of the last few streams where we solved some really miserable bugs, like bang, 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 and made loads of progress. And yeah, I guess they can't all be winners. Streams 2 push. Okay. Oh, before everyone goes, I have goodies. Hopefully brighten up someone's day. Yes, but unfortunately, I think doesn't our DST end soon as well? So do we then go back to being unaligned again? Apologies. I really think they should do away with British summertime. Ah, cool. Okay, right. Right. YouTube allows me to gift 1 month membership trials to 5 people. Well, 10 people in blocks of 5 per month. So congratulations to these people. Yes, do come along to the Discord. There's a separate room. Well, I mean, not a lot happens in it. Most of the conversations in the public room. You get a few access to early behind the scenes stuff. You get early access to the videos. I have broken the back of most of the technical content for the next video. There's one like stretch goal that I want to do, so I'm going to spend a bit of time doing that. Once that has been stretched, bish bash bosh video, quick video film in and out, like 2 weeks. So hopefully October's video is like weeks, like a week or so away. Yep. Okay, well, again, I'm not actually that grumpy. It's fine. This is how software engineering works. I'm annoyed I didn't see those language quirks sooner, but can't always be on top form. Thank you everyone for coming along. I actually did have fun, so thank you for keeping me company, because I would have been doing this anyway, and it would have been a lot more frustrating without someone to talk to. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Wednesday we'll do it again, and it'll be better, and there'll be more ranges and less misery and something SSAO. We'll do it then. I'm gonna have a beer. I'll hang out on Discord for a bit. Other than that, I will see you all later.